Today, the plan is we are going to go to a cinema that I have booked out completely for me and my friends, and we're gonna play Mario Party. Let's go.
Nice cake.
Hello.
Where's Lynn? I thought she was.
Wait, where's Lynn?
She's taking the car. She found out she can park somewhere near her mum's house. He's like, oh, hang on, let me turn the camera on. Hey, Isaac, where's your wife? Yeah, just say clearly to the camera that she's alive and she's well.
Alright, so this is awesome. Check this out. What's up guys, welcome back to another guide at tbcguides.gg on my YouTube channel here. No stupid clickbait thumbnails, no dumb titles, just good high quality information sorted and made easy for you. So this week we have a huge PvP guide. So this guide is basically going to be everything you need to know about PvP basics for just getting started and getting set up. So this is going to answer all your questions like what is resilience, how much resilience do I need, how many points do I get a week, how does matchmaker rating work, what do I need to set up in my game to do arena well, like UI wise, how do I change my macros, keybinds on the fly for PvP and PvE, what UI recommendations would you make or add-ons that most people use. I'm going to run through all of that for you guys. So this is kind of like your 101 to getting set up for PvP. And as always, I have to give the big shout out to the Patreon, as I always do. Without you guys on the Patreon, I wouldn't be able to say screw the YouTube algorithm. I wouldn't be able to make these guides. So thank you, especially a big thank you to the tier 3s who get a special shout out. We got the Matthew Cleveland, Brendan Krugman, Dustin Israel, Jesse Rubenstein. You guys and everyone else on the Patreon allow me to say screw the YouTube algorithm. Let's just make good, high quality videos. So thank you so much. And if you'd like to join, link is below in the description. Thank you so much. Let's go. Okay, let's run you through the TBC PvP FAQ setup and UI for dummies. So the goal of this is that by the end of this, you'll be all set up to PvP. You have all your UI set up. You know how to swap your macros, keybinds, all of that on the fly for PvP, and you just be in a good position to hop into PvP. So firstly, let's talk about basics. There's going to be some of you guys that need the basics, and of course, if you ever want to reference anything in this video, it's all on my website at tbcguides.gg, neatly sorted for you guys, and there's also timestamps in the description. So yeah, let's cover some basics first. So for the new people out here, there's Arena and there's BGs. So BGs are the battlegrounds that you've been used to, like Warsong, Eltorek Valley, Eye of the Storm. All of those are your basic battlegrounds. They're a little bit more casual. You pretty much just go in there to farm honor and marks. But arenas are competitive, so it's kind of like having a league. If you played League of Legends on another team, you have a rating, and the higher rating you go, the more points you earn each week, and you can unlock special items which you can buy. Now currently in Arena, there's only two things that are locked behind a rating requirement, so that is weapons and shoulders. So if you want to buy any Arena weapons, you need at least 1850 plus Arena rating, that's your ranking, and shoulders need 2k rating. So those are the only two areas where there are requirements before you can buy that Arena gear. Now on top of that, if you end the season in the top bracket of Arena, so we're talking top 0.5% or higher, not only do you get a gladiator title for your character, but you get this guy. So this is the Swift Nether Drake mount, I believe was the name for the season 1, and it flies way faster than any other mount. So this is a 310% speed mount. This is why people really want it. It's the only way to get 310% flying speed at this stage of the game. So this is a big draw of the Arena system. Now down here, I do have it listed of what titles you do get. So depending on how high you get, the better title you get. If you're in the top 0.1%, you get a special Infernal Gladiator title. If you're top 0.5%, which is what most people aim for, it's Gladiator. And below that, you have the runner-up title. So this is your Duelist, your Rival, your Challenger. Basically, everyone's aiming for that Gladiator or higher. That is the goal of most people that want to do arenas and want to get that prestige. Now for arena gear, a lot of it is very, very good for PvP. So you can see here the stat bonuses for arena gear are typically aimed around more survivability and introducing the new stat called resilience. As well as that, there are bonuses on the arena gear that are more tiered towards PvP. So for example, here in the rogue set, you can see the 4 set for rogues actually gives you 10 more energy, which is really, really nice for PvP. And you can see here it also has sometimes special effects like the deadly throw on the gloves. Now interrupts spellcasting if you are rogue with PvP gloves. So arena gear is very, very good and is geared towards surviving in PvP, as would be expected. Now, if you're new to PvP and you're just getting started out, you're saying, Snow, what do I need to get first? You need to get this item. You need your PvP trinket. Now, the unfortunate side effect is that with the current honor system, it's going to take you a while to get this PvP trinket, but it should absolutely be #1 on your priority list. There's a PvP trinket. It costs 8,000 honor points. So this Medallion of the Horde or Medallion of the Alliance, this will cost you 8,000 honor points, and you really, really want this. You should absolutely aim for this first. 2-minute cooldown is very good. There is a cheaper version that's only 2,000 honor, I believe, and it's a 5-minute cooldown. But it's not as good as this. You need a 2-minute cooldown. If you're planning to play any extended PvP, you want a 2-minute cooldown trinket. And it also has a little bit of resilience on it as well. So it's just the first item everyone should get, because if you can't remove yourself from CC, which is what this trinket does, if you click it, it removes CC on you, you're going to get destroyed in arena. So you absolutely want a PvP trinket. Now you might be asking, Snow, what is resilience? I don't know what this resilience thing is. So resilience is a new stat in TBC. It basically reduces the chance of getting hit and also reduces the damage you take from crits. So for every 39.4 resilience, that's 2% less crit damage and 1% less chance to crit. What this means is you want to stack a lot of resilience if possible. So depending on your class, most PvPers aim for about 170 up to 200 plus resilience because it really does have a noticeable effect on your survivability. And as well as that, all the arena gear has resilience on it typically anyway, so you're going to be able to stack this up. As long as you're getting arena and honor gear, you will have a good chunky amount of resilience on you. In fact, I'll go as far as saying that some classes completely play differently when they have a bunch of resilience. For example, right now it's early arena. Priests are getting blown up like crazy because they don't have resilience. So a lot of teams are targeting priests first to just blow them up because they're not very tanky. They just die very, very fast. But resilience is one of the things that completely changes how a priest feels and allows them to survive through that burst to get those heals in. So yeah, resilience is a very important stat, and most PvPers try to get a whole bunch of it when possible. Now it is season 1 though, so you will notice that a lot of people don't have much resilience yet, but this will change as we get later into the season and then go on to season 2 as well. Now, how do arena points ratings work and how much will I get each week? Well, that depends. So the new system that Blizzard is putting in actually means that you start at 0. So you actually start at 0 rating now, but you do climb very, very rapidly. So you start at 0 rating, unlike the old TBC days, and every win will get you anywhere from 80 up to 100 points almost. So you basically gain really, really fast, all the way up to about 1300 rating. You don't really lose much points for a loss. You lose 0, or you might lose 1 or 2 points when you lose, and then gain 80 when you win. Now, to get points every week, this is an interesting one, is that you must have a personal rating within 150 points of your arena team and participate in at least 30 games that week to get points. This means it can be very annoying if you're hopping between a bunch of friend groups, you're playing in a bunch of different teams. You need to try to get your personal rating back up with that team to match the team's rating. So there's a team rating and then there's personal rating. Those are two separate things. This does make it a little bit annoying for people that like to hop teams, as I said, and yeah, you gotta be watchful of that. Now, the good news though, people are reporting this for week 2 of arenas, is that it's been reported that some folks are saying if your personal rating is more than 150 points outside of your team's rating, so let's say your team is at 2000 rating and you're at 1800 rating on your personal rating because you just missed a bunch of games or you hopped teams for a while and then you came back, it seems that it's actually giving you points based on your personal rating instead then. So in that scenario where your team is at 2k rating and you end the week at 1800 rating, you don't get your team's 2k rating points, but it gives you points based on your 1800 personal rating. At least that seems to be what has happened to some people in the last week. If you experienced this, please leave a comment below so I can confirm, but I've talked to a few people that this happened to and they said, yeah, I got points based on my personal rating instead. Now, for points gained, 5 vs 5 actually gives the most points, 3 vs 3 is after that, and 2 vs 2 is the least. So for whatever reason, Blizzard uses a system where 5s gives you more points. So if you're 1500 rating in 5s, this will give you more points than 1500 rating in 2s or 3s. So it goes 5s, 3s, 2s as far as the tier of which gives the most points. This is why you see a lot of people in arenas and PvP, they'll have a 5 teams that they just don't leave and they'll sit at say 2k rating or whatever it is, so that they're just guaranteed that set amount of points every week, and then they can hop as much as they want in their 3s and 2s teams without worrying about not being eligible for points. So a lot of people do have 5s teams that they just sit on just for the points alone. Now, one thing I should say as well is that if you want to earn points every week, not only do you need to meet the rating requirements and the amount of games played, but you also need to play at least 10 games. So it's 10 games a week minimum to qualify for arena points on a team. The good news for the people who aren't good PvPers as well is that the points earned below 1500 rating are actually slightly increased versus original TBC. So just to help out the beginners who are starting out at 0 and climbing their way up to 1500, they are actually increasing the amount of points you earn. So you can see here I just have the point values listed, but they are a little bit boosted from the old days where you would not earn this many points pre 1500. So they gave you a little boost for the beginners there. Now, if someone joins an established team, I did test this out. If someone joins an established team that's like, let's say around 1500 rating already, they seem to start at 1k rating. So this means if you get a new member, so I added this member to my Fun 2's team and he started at 1000 rating here, you can see. So basically this is a little bit of a catch-up mechanic so that people don't have to grind your personal rating all the way from 0 up to like 1500 if the team's at 1500. It does start you at a reasonable level. So for example, in this scenario you see here, when my friend Boostico joined the team, he'll need to climb his rating up from 1000 to try to match our team rating here. So this is the personal rating that's displayed here on the arena team page, and then this is your team rating here at the top. Now, what is MMR? So some people might be confused by MMR. So MMR is just your matchmaker rating. It's not displayed in the default UI, and there's no in-game thing that shows you this, although there are weak auras. You can see here I provide a weak aura that shows you your MMR, but it's basically just a hidden rating that will rank you versus the other team. And if it thinks like, oh, okay, you're way more likely to beat this other team, then you shouldn't get as many points for this win. Or if you lose versus a really high rated team, you're 1500 and for some reason the system matched you against a 2k MMR rating team, you're probably not going to lose many points because the system has determined that, oh yeah, you're probably going to lose this anyway. It's not really a fair matchup there. So MMR is just the hidden rating system behind the pluses and minuses and how fast you gain arena points for each win and loss. Now, I do have some cheat sheets here for you guys. So for people that want a cheat sheet of arena points versus your rating, I made a nice chart here for you guys. You guys can quick reference this. So this is from 1500 all the way up to 2600. This will tell you how many points you earn from your 2s, your 3s, your 5s team. So you can see here, like I said before, for 5s you do gain more points than 3s and 2s. So that's just how it works. Now, depending on how much gear you need, some people actually don't even really need that high of a rating. I did the math for rogues, for example. You actually only need to be 1850 plus in 2s for 3 months. And you will have full BIS PvP because rogues don't pick up as much PvP gear as the other classes. So yeah, you can use this chart to check it out and see how many points your team will earn. You can actually use this calculator that I use as well called Arena Points Calculator. So I have the link here as well. And this will calculate how many points you gain for your rating. However, do note that it's not accurate below 1500 just because of Blizzard's new boost system, which boosts up the points pre 1500. So don't use it to calculate anything below 1500. But for after 1500, it is accurate, and that's what I used to make this chart for you guys here. Now, I do have 2 more cheat sheets here. So I have a cheat sheet here that shows you how much honor points and marks you need for every single piece of honor gear. So that's there for you guys as well. And I also have a cheat sheet here for how many points do you need for arena gear. So this is there as well. So those 2 cheat sheets are there on the website for your quick reference. Okay, so now let's get into the UI and add-on section of the guide. So these are everything that you want to add to your UI, and I'd highly recommend. And some cheats and tricks you can have for swapping easily between PvE and PvP, especially with your macros, your talents, your hotkey bars, things like that. These are things I'd highly recommend to get your UI up and running and ready for PvP. So first things first, it's arena frames. I think everyone should have an arena frame of some sort. If you're going to do arena, you need an arena frame option. There's 2 popular options. One is S Arena and one is Gladdy. Personally, I use Gladdy right now. It's way better in my opinion. S Arena is good as well, but it's very basic and not customizable. Gladdy is the same thing, but it looks better and it's way more customizable. So you can see here in this photo, Gladdy shows everything from HP to current CC and target, to diminishing returns, to what you're casting, to your ratio and trinket cooldowns. You can even show things like what cooldowns they have on them, what debuffs and buffs they have, and it's very customizable. So what I like here is that you can see down here, this is one of the versions I edited and customized myself, and I just cleaned it up and only showed what I wanted it to show. So that's the power of Gladdy, is that you can clean it up and you can adjust it. So what I personally did is I talked to top PvPers like Bobka, people who are ranked top 5 in the world right now in the ladders, and asked them, okay, what do you show in your arena frames? Why do you show them? And I customized my Gladdy based on that. So I can show you guys here in game. This is Gladdy in game. So let's say I'm doing 2s. This is what my Gladdy looks like. So you can see the CC shows here over the character class icon here, and you can see cast down here. It shows you a spec. Basically, I took the basic Gladdy and just cleaned it up, made some things bigger. So if you wanted to see cooldowns, I actually have 2 Gladdy skins, one which shows cooldowns for the enemy classes and one that doesn't. Some people prefer seeing cooldowns on Gladdy, some don't. It's a personal preference thing. So yeah, this is the Gladdy skin that I customized. For Patreon members, Gladdy does have now an import option. So I actually did all the hard work for you guys. I have 2 Gladdy skins that you guys can steal from me and import straight into your Gladdy so that you don't have to do any customizing yourself. So yeah, if you're a Patreon member, check it out. It's linked in the Patreon and in the guide as well. You can grab my Gladdy skins and get up and running really quick. But yeah, the nice thing about Gladdy is it kind of does what we used to need 10 different add-ons for and puts it into one add-on, which is really nice. So for example, even the diminishing returns, people used to use diminish for diminishing returns, but with Gladdy now you don't need it. The diminishing returns are right here on the side. So that's the power of Gladdy, and I highly recommend you grab it. Okay, now the next add-on is Talented. So Talented is just a quick save template add-on for your talents. This makes it really easy when you're respecking constantly. If you're anything like me, sometimes you're respecking and you think, oh god, wait, did I learn the wrong talent here? I forgot, did I take this before this? What was my talent set up here? So this way you just literally tell it, okay, this is the talent I want to remember for PvP, this is the one I want for PvE. Then you save those templates, and every time you respec at the trainer, you literally just go into your talented. So I'll show you right here. So here in game, when you pull up your talent window, it shows the talented window instead. And under your templates, you can create and save your templates here. Then when you're respecking, you literally just go into templates. You click the template you want. Then under actions, you go apply template. And that's it's as easy as that. Then you just wait. It takes a little while because it'll go through all the settings and change everything for you. But then you just look down in your chat box and it'll say when everything's applied and you're good to go. So yeah, it's a way simpler way of learning talents. Okay, now one thing that a lot of people run into issues with when speccing the PvP is macros, hotkeys, and abilities. It's really annoying personally when you're going between PvE and PvP and you need to go drag certain things onto your ability bar, and sometimes you run out of hotkey spaces, so you're actually reusing one key for PvE that does something different in PvP. Basically, it becomes a bit of a cluster. So there's kind of 2 solutions you can do for this. Option 1 is the option I use, and then option 2 is a more powerful option that a lot of people use as well. You can pick whichever one you prefer. So option 1 is you use MySlot. So MySlot is a very powerful add-on, so you can see here, and you just save 2 profiles. So in MySlot, it basically lets you save a profile, which will save your action bar layout, your hotkey bindings, and your macros. So in MySlot, you basically save one setting as your PvE setting, and then you respec and you set up your PvP how you like it. Then you save that option for PvP. Now, every time you swap back and forth now, you don't have to redo everything again. You just go into MySlot, you select, okay, I'm PvP spec now. So I'm going to go PvP, import, we're good. And that's it. That's the way I deal with it. Is I find that way easier, obviously, than manually doing every time and worrying about my hotkey bars being messed up and such. So MySlot is one option for you there. Now option 2 is more powerful, but it takes more setup as well. So BindPad is an add-on that will allow you to bind things directly to the ability, to the macro and such, without the use of hotkey bars. So you actually have a BindPad literally in the game where you drag things onto it and then you bind directly inside this add-on, and it doesn't matter where you have these abilities and your hotkeys and things, because it's bound inside the actual BindPad and not to your hotkey bars. And on top of this, it also has a profiles function. So you can see the 2 and 3 here. It has a profiles function where it will remember the talent spec you are when you set up your different profiles, and anytime you swap to the other talent spec, it will swap your profile as well. So it kind of does everything that MySlot does, but fancier and automated. So if you want to use BindPad, it's very powerful. It just takes more setup. That's why I personally haven't swapped over to using it yet, but BindPad is very powerful as well. Now, BindPad doesn't have an official release for it, but people have tinkered with the old version that worked and kind of updated it so it doesn't show errors anymore. And I have the link here if you want the unofficial fixed version of BindPad for TBC. Okay, now the next thing that everyone has is some sort of nameplate debuffs for PvP. So there's a lot of options for custom nameplates. I'm going to go over the option I like and one of the most popular options that a lot of PvPers use, but there are a lot of add-ons that do this. So if you use a different one, that's fine, but this is the options that I use and I'm going to cover. So option 1 is play turn nameplates. So this is what I use here. You can see here, it shows the debuffs over the nameplates, and then you can highlight certain ones. Like I asked for CCs to be highlighted on the side here like this. So it's just a very, Play-Doh is one of the most popular because it's one of the most customizable and it looks very good. So Play-Doh is very popular if you want to see nameplate debuffs like this. Now, it does take a bit of setting up, so I do include my Play-Doh profile. It's free, it's available for anyone to grab. If you want to grab my Play-Doh profile, I have it linked here as well. It's already configured for arenas and such. And by the way, for people that already use my Play-Doh profile from my previous videos, I did update it again so that now in arena, it's no longer swapping the color of nameplates, because I don't know if anyone else was running into this issue, but in arena, because of the threat mechanics, it was changing the color of nameplates, and that was really annoying because sometimes the priest was not showing as the priest class color. But I updated that. That's all fixed now. So if you want to grab my Play-Doh profile, yeah, it's all there for you guys to import and get it up and running ASAP. Now option 2 is if you don't want to use a custom nameplate like Play-Doh, and you don't want to use a profile or anything like that, you can just install something that will show debuffs on your standard nameplates. So BigDebuffs does this, and there's also a weak aura that does the same thing as well. So BigDebuffs here, you can see is a popular option. It just pretty much shows it over your basic nameplate, and you can customize how it looks, how high above your nameplate you want it to look. It basically does everything that Play-Doh does, except without replacing your nameplate. So you don't get a fancy looking nameplate, you just run with whatever nameplate you're using, which is usually for people using this option, it's like the default nameplates. So you have that option there for BigDebuffs. You also want OmniCC so that it shows the timer on the debuffs when they're counting down. And if you prefer to not have an add-on, you want a weak aura instead, you can get debuffs on nameplates, which does the same thing as well. So both of those options are linked there for you. Now for enemy cooldown tracking, there's a few options here. Now option 1 is what I used originally, it's what a lot of people use as well. It's OmniBar. So OmniBar will basically place a bar on your screen like this that tracks all the enemy cooldowns and abilities in one spot. So it's very powerful. You just put it up, you set it up in one spot, and it'll show everything that's been used, like how long do they have, like how long is this guy's kick cooldown coming back up, when does this guy's ice block come back up, etc. It'll just show the icon and the cooldown here. Now the option 2 is if you're using Gladdy, you can actually have Gladdy do this for you. So again, this is one of the custom skins I have customized for you, but Gladdy does this by default. I just made it prettier and put it in a nicer spot in my opinion. But Gladdy does do cooldown management for you. So you can see here above the enemies, it will record your enemy cooldowns as well. So it's kind of up to you how you prefer to have the cooldowns shown. Personally, I started with OmniBar and then I swapped over to Gladdy transitionally because I just like thinking like, okay, what are the rogues cooldowns? And then I just look at the rogue section, right? And the problem with OmniBar is having is that it kind of put everything in one spot like this. And it took longer for my brain to filter out, okay, what are the rogue add-ons? It's this one. Whereas in Gladdy, I could just look at the actual rogue on the enemy team and be like, okay, boom, these are all his cooldowns that are coming up. So it's up to you how you like it. It's a personal preference thing. But again, if you want this Gladdy skin that's customized like this, it is included for patrons on the Patreon. So yeah, you can go import that for yourself. Now, option 3 is enemy cooldown count. So enemy cooldown count is actually one that was very popular, and I used to use this myself, but I don't use it anymore. So the reason why people don't use enemy cooldown count anymore, or it's less popular now, is because it's based on target. So enemy cooldown count will basically look at whoever you're targeting and say, okay, these are the cooldowns that he has or that he's used. It's very powerful, but it's very limiting in arena, because in arena you'll find that sometimes, okay, I'm attacking the healer here, but I want to know what the rogue's cooldowns are. But you don't want to actually target the rogue because you're going to mess up your targeting and such. So this is why I don't use enemy cooldown count anymore, but it is a very powerful add-on just for the purposes of looking at your target's specific cooldowns. But I would recommend either option 2 with the Gladdy or option 1 with the OmniBar if you want to track enemy cooldowns. Okay, now you also want something that tracks your team's cooldowns. Now, you don't have to use this. This is kind of an optional one. Some people track their team's cooldowns. Some people don't worry about it. But if you want to track your team's cooldowns, this is a popular option. It's called Ability Team Tracker. And it will show your team's cooldowns next to your party nameplates like so. You can customize it however you want. So if you don't want to see everything, for example, one of the configurations I run is sometimes I just wanted to show trinket and racial. So next to my party frames, I see, okay, this is his trinket cooldown, this is his racial cooldown. So you can customize it how you like. It's a very powerful add-on. It's handy, but it's kind of optional. Depends on how much communication, how much information you want coming in for you. Okay, now this loss of control is super popular. So in PvP, you're going to get hit by a lot of CC at all times. So sometimes you're going to get layered with a lot of CC, and it can take a second or two to process, okay, what CC am I being hit by? I have like 5 on me, which one is applying right now? How long until I'm out of these CC? So to make it easier, a lot of people use an add-on or weak aura called loss of control. So it shows your CC on you over your character like this and says how long do you have left on the CC. So I really like it. There's a lot of variations of it. It comes in weak aura forms, it comes in add-on forms, there's like 10 plus variations of it. This is the version I like using, which shows it like this right now. It's called Loss of Control Alerter for TBC Classic, and I have it linked here. But I highly recommend grabbing one of these. It just makes it really easy to track the CC on you at all times. Okay, now here's a little bonus for the ElvUI users out there, because I ran into this issue and a lot of ElvUI users are running into this issue as well. The issue is that by default, a lot of ElvUI setups don't show debuffs on target and focus frames. So this means like if you're a rogue, it doesn't show your arena partner. If your arena partner is a warlock, on your target frames, it might not show all his dots, which is fine for PvE. You don't usually care about what dots the warlock is putting on the raid boss or whatever, or on the mob. But in PvP, you actually do need to know these things so that you don't CC a target that's dotted up, for example. Now to fix this, you go under ElvUI, so you can go Escape, ElvUI, then you go Unit Frames, Individual Units, then you can select Target or Focus. Then under Debuffs down here, you see all these filters for filter priority. What you want to do for Arena is you just remove all of them, because you kind of want all the information on the target frame in Arena. So you just right click on each of these filters and it will delete them. Now, this gets very annoying though, because in PvE now you're going to see 5,000 debuffs on your raid targets and such, things that you don't care about in PvE. So the solution for this, what I did at least in ElvUI, is before I did this, I made sure I saved my profile. So under ElvUI you can save a profile. I saved the profile for PvE. Then I went under my target and focus frames, removed all the filters, and then saved it for PvP. So anytime I'm PvPing, I just go under my ElvUI profiles, boom, I swap to my PvP profile. And then when I'm back in PvE, I swap back to my PvE profile. So this is kind of the way I got around the filter issue in ElvUI, where sometimes I want to filter, sometimes I don't. And this is how you fix that issue. Alright, so that was my PvP setup video. I really appreciate it, guys. I will have more in-depth PvP videos coming as well. So I have a whole series with Bobcow, who's a top 5 ranked team player in the PvP brackets right now, who's going to do a whole rogue series with me. We already recorded episode 1. We're basically teaching you how to get Gladiator as a rogue, starting from 0 up to Gladiator. So yeah, I look forward to that coming in the coming days and in the coming weeks for the future episodes as well. But thank you so much, guys. Again, it means a lot to me that the Patreon's been going crazy, and it means a lot to me that other people believe that you can make YouTube content without the clickbait, without all the nonsense titles and everything. And it's because of you guys on the Patreon. So thank you so much. Again, I appreciate all the support on the Patreon, and it means a lot. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.